So they couldn't leave the poppy alone. Seems like these guys got to get their grips into everything, and the poppy is not immune to this movement. So the LGBT plus IA, whatever the heck the name is now, the alphabet group, they now have a poppy. I mean, I'm not going to blame them necessarily. It was one group that popped this out. I'm going to read this article here. This is Spiked. It's not a very reputable site, but I'm going to talk about this. So get your Progress Pride poppy. Have you ever wanted to signal your commitment to veterans and your undying allegiance to trans ideology? Well, now for just £8 you can purchase your very own Progress Pride poppy pin just in time for Remembrance Day. The badge, sold by the Royal British Legion, the RBL, features the traditional red remembrance poppy attached to the ubiquitous eyesore that is the Progress Pride flag. This is the flag that includes not only the standard gay rights rainbow, but also the trans flag, the intersex flag. Yes, they have their own flags now. And 2 black and brown stripes, apparently to represent ethnic minorities. So that's a lot of business going on in there. A lot of different representations. It's like, how many different things can you cram in one flag? They're figuring it out. They're cramming some things in some things, you know. This new pin has struck many people online as a strange move, given that the primary purpose of the RBL is to support veterans, current service members, and their families, not to wade into contentious cultural debates about sex and gender. Also, it's not as if we needed different poppies for different identities before this. Exactly. You know what? This one just bugs me to the core. This one gets me. You can't leave things well enough alone. Just it's pure. It has its own meaning, and you've got to just plop your silly ideologies on top of it. Leave it the F alone. It's pure in its own thing. We're supposed to just we got one day for it. We got Veterans Day in the States. We've got Remembrance Day in Canada. Just to remember these guys and gals that went out there and sacrificed themselves for various wars, whether they were justified or not, depending on your perspective. But mostly World War I and II, which I think there isn't a lot of debate as to whether those 2 wars were quite justified as to our participation in them. So leave them alone, man. Let's just keep certain things sacred, certain things honorable, and not allow this bullshit to go on. The minute stuff like this happens, we should squash it. These guys should be boycotted and smashed into oblivion. You put this garbage out there, that's it. You're done. Anyways, okay. So nevertheless, it seems very institutional now, or must now. Sorry, it seems every institution must now signal its fealty to woke ideology as at every possible opportunity. Indeed, earlier this year, the RBL was also caught advertising for a new head of diversity and inclusion to ensure DEI ideology is woven into everything we do. Nice work if you can get it. If you're wondering, it turns out that the RBL is also, obviously, a member of Stonewall's Diversity Champions. The scheme, run by the largely discredited gender ideology charity, costs organizations £3,000 each year to belong to. It bills itself as the gold standard for LGBTQ plus inclusion and aims to make LGBTQ plus people feel safe and encouraged in the workplace. Okay, so it's a grift. So the RBL is a grift. And it's a grift in the worst way. I'm not going to read any more of this. It's a good article, actually, to be honest. But I'm not going to read anymore. It's just sad that they're going to jump on something so pure and something so simple as honoring and remembering people that gave the ultimate sacrifice for all of our freedoms, especially in World War I and World War II. And now they're going to try and just hitch their wagon onto something like this. It's beyond awful. We should shit on these idiot groups, these whatever you want to call them, that plop out this nonsense garbage. Ugh. I hope nobody watching this would ever support this kind of thing, and I hope honestly this thing gets squashed, because this is, like I said, about the second time this has come up. 2019, it's kind of reared its ugly head a little bit, but this is another. We got 5 years later, we got another one. So hopefully now with the new administration coming in, stuff like this least over here in the West, is just squashed into oblivion.